Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's dive right into this by picturing something happening literally this very second. Somewhere out there in the world, someone just clocked in for a grueling, back-breaking 12-hour shift. It might be out under the beating summer sun, or maybe in a loud, crowded warehouse, but they're absolutely going to work incredibly hard today.
But here is the crazy part. By the time they finally clock out tonight with their body aching and completely exhausted, they're actually going to have made less money than someone else who made a single 30-second decision from a comfy chair. And listen, that's not a rumor, it's not some wild exaggeration, it is a reality happening right now, and it's all because of one hidden rule. It's a rule so incredibly simple you can learn it today, yet almost nobody teaches it to hardworking people.
So, why does hard work alone rarely equal wealth? We've all heard the phrase since we were kids, right? Hard work pays off. A parent probably said it to you or a teacher. And it isn't completely wrong. Hard work definitely builds skill, it earns trust, and it gets you through those incredibly tough years. But if you look at the wealthiest people who have ever lived, you'll find that almost none of them got rich simply by outworking everyone else. It's an incomplete truth. And incomplete truths are honestly the most dangerous kind, because they feel like the whole story when they really, really aren't.
Let's unpack the hard work myth and look at exactly why just doing more isn't enough. The wealthiest people realize that outworking everyone just isn't the answer. Instead, they rely on three foundational principles. Money follows value, wealth follows ownership, and freedom follows leverage. These are three simple sentences, but they quietly dictate who stays exhausted and who becomes truly free. You probably know someone right now who has worked harder than anyone else you know for decades, yet they still aren't financially free. Well, these principles are exactly why. Let's look at a timeline that brilliantly illustrates this concept in action. This is the path of Jeff Bezos. Back in 1994, he was earning a super stable, six-figure salary at a New York hedge fund, literally the kind of money most people spend their entire lives chasing. But he quit. He drove across the country and built Amazon in a rented garage. During the dot-com crash in 2000, his stock plummeted by over 90%, and a lot of people thought the company was dead. But Bezos survived because he wasn't trading his personal hours for a paycheck anymore. He had traded his hours to build a system capable of massive scale, way beyond what his own two hands could ever pull off. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is this: the poor sell time and the wealthy build systems. Shifting from trading your individual hours to building scalable systems is the first major key. But even after people understand this conceptually, there's still one specific, silent trade they make every single day without even noticing. And that trade quietly costs them more than any bad investment ever could. Which leads us right into the unforgiving time trap. What it really means to rent your survival paycheck to paycheck.
Ask yourself, would you rather have $1 million or 1 million hours? Most people easily pick the money, instantly. But here's the catch. Money lost can be earned back. A failed business can absolutely be rebuilt. Time, though, time cannot. It moves in only one direction. Every hour spent today is just gone, forever. It isn't stored, it's non-refundable, and it is definitely not coming back with interest. When you relentlessly trade time for money, you end up missing those precious ordinary Tuesday afternoons with your kids. And you don't realize how precious they are until they're gone for good.
This chronological cage of trading time for money works essentially in 4 steps. First, you sell an hour of your time. Second, you receive a paycheck. And that works great right up until step 3. The moment you stop showing up to work, step 4 hits. The paycheck completely stops. Now, there is nothing inherently wrong with a job. It builds stability. But the danger starts when a job becomes your only strategy. Because when it is, your future has a ceiling built right into it.
To break out of that cage and finally shatter that ceiling, we have to look at the power of leverage. We need a mechanical solution that multiplies our everyday effort. So here's the exact definition of leverage. It means using something outside yourself to multiply the effort you already put in. It's this incredible tool that shifts your focus entirely from manual one-to-one output over to scalable, exponential impact. To really see how this builds, look at a perfect historical example. Bill Gates in 1975. In manual labor, 1 hour of effort equals exactly 1 unit of output. You literally have to be there. But Gates believed every desk in America would eventually have a computer. Microsoft didn't get rich by writing code faster hour for hour than anyone else. They used leverage. They wrote software once and it scaled indefinitely. It was effort made once, paid for millions of times over.
That is leverage in its absolute purest form.
But I definitely have to issue a warning here, because leverage has a dark side that almost nobody talks about. Leverage multiplies careless mistakes just as rapidly as it multiplies success. A brilliant decision changes your life, for sure, but a careless one, magnified, can ruin it just as fast. Turns out, accidentally hitting reply all to the entire company is a form of leverage too. That's exactly why earning good judgment first is absolutely critical before you reach for heavy leverage.
So you might be wondering, why doesn't everyone just use leverage? Well, escaping the traditional system requires a fundamental change, which brings us to the wealth mindset shift and asking the right questions.
The system we live in demands short-term survival. Rent is due on the first of the month, right? So chasing immediate income isn't foolish at all, it's necessary. But as years pass and people earn a bit more, they often fall victim to lifestyle inflation. That's when your expenses quietly grow to match your income, so you basically always feel broke. Walmart founder Sam Walton brilliantly avoided this trap. Even after becoming America's richest man in 1985, he famously still drove a beat-up 1979 Ford pickup truck. He focused entirely on the ownership of assets rather than the flashy appearance of wealth.
To truly shift your mindset, you really have to look at the questions you ask yourself. Think about it. If two people have the exact identical $60,000 salary over 5 years, one might end up with nothing while the other builds real wealth. The difference? It's the question they ask. Most people ask, how can I earn more today? But the wealth builder consistently asks, how can today's work create value tomorrow? And that long-term thinking brings us to the number 11. 11 is the remarkably young age when Warren Buffett bought his first shares of stock. He didn't just make one lucky, overnight bet. He made patient, consistent decisions that quietly compounded over decades. He even lived in the exact same modest house in Omaha for over 60 years. Over long stretches of time, those patient decisions grow like a tree that nobody even notices until it suddenly becomes impossible to ignore.
Now, we must redefine what we're actually aiming for, the true meaning of wealth. It is time to move past all the flashy illusions of success.
Consider the evolution of Netflix. They started back in 1997 as the small DVD by mail service. They didn't just try to physically outwork the local video rental stores on every corner. They bypassed that limitation completely by building a scalable system that didn't even require a physical storefront. And today, that system has scaled streaming into over 190 countries. They built something that produced immense value long after the initial physical effort stopped. They made their effort work for them.
Which leads us to redefining wealth entirely. When we picture wealth, we so often think of the illusion, sports cars, private jets, mansions. But honestly, often someone with all those things is quietly drowning in hidden debt behind closed doors. Real wealth is quiet. It's having options. It's the freedom to walk away from a job that doesn't align with your values, or the amazing security of knowing an unexpected medical bill won't completely unravel your family's life.
So, does hard work matter? Completely. Absolutely nothing worth having is built without it. But while hard work is completely necessary, without ownership, it's merely exhaustion with a paycheck attached. Hard work builds income, but ownership builds wealth. The goal was never to work less hard. The goal is to make sure the work you are already doing builds something that outlasts the effort itself.
I want to leave you with this final, unforgettable question to ponder. Remember that person clocking in before sunrise at the very beginning of our explainer? One day, they're going to work their final shift. And every single person watching this will too. There are absolutely no exceptions. So when your last workday comes, does your income stop with you? Or are you building something today that outlives your physical effort so that 5 years from now, it's paying you too? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this completely changes how you look at the time you spend tomorrow.